Hello and welcome to Last Level Press. I am Mr. Black. Thank you all for joining us for our next mod spotlight. As you can see, we are still reviewing mods for Fallout New Vegas. We are, however, graduating from Sunny Good Springs, Nevada, and taking this show to Vegas, baby. Tonight, we are looking at the Freeside Studio Apartment by Alephdervish, located in Freeside, just outside of the Strip, at its own convenient little map marker, the Strip North Gate, which puts you just shy of the door to the apartment, which is located just to the right of the Strip entrance here. Now, as you can tell, it's a little bit tough to spot, especially at night, because it gets very dark here, especially if you have Fallout on, and because it kind of gets lost in all these posters, but that's okay. Now, this entry hall may look familiar to you, even if you've never seen this mod before. That's because it was inspired by the entry hall to the girl's apartment from the Secret World promo trailer. And I actually got that vibe from this hallway before I actually knew that that's what this was inspired by. So it was obviously rather well executed. One of many toggleable lights is right over here, so that you can turn on or off the hall lights as you see fit. It's always a little bit difficult to see, even in the daytime hours, but there's a turret up here, sort of posing as a guard for the entrance. Speaking of, to gain access, I love the white text in here, by the way. I don't have this set as my personal, like Pip-Boy text color. I've got mine set to the amber, but this just automatically gives this white, which I think gives it a nice little unique feel. So anyway, it also assumes that this home was already the courier's home before he got shot in the head, or she got shot in the head, and addresses you by name as such. So if any of you ever wondered what my Courier 6's name was, there you are. So let's disengage the lock and head inside. And I like that this just feels, like, it feels aftermarket, but it feels natural. Like, that's just something that a slightly paranoid person like Courier 6 would probably have installed, because, you know, it's not like he's got Legion assassins chasing after him all the time or anything. So let's click on the lights here. There we are. And if you're wondering if these sunbeams and shadows and lighting effects will be here all the time, no, they will not. This is one of the mods that I very much enjoy, which is affected on the interior space by the exterior time of day. So it will get dark in here at night, which I will showcase for you shortly. However, I would like to show this off in the daytime so that you can, you know, see. One of the things that immediately grabbed me about this mod and just kind of sucked me right into it is the vast amount of subtle little bits of humor and intellectualism that actually are sprinkled about throughout this mod. But before I get into that, quick bug. It seems like especially modded-in companions will have this issue right here. There's some nav mesh issue with the doorway, which will prevent many companions from going beyond it and actually coming into the apartment proper. Kind of did there, but I've noticed a lot of vanilla game companions like Boone and Veronica. They will come inside, and oh hey, I guess he kind of worked his way past it. That's actually the first time I've had Farsight come in here and not get hung up on the door. So obviously it's not a universal problem, but it is one that I've run into frequently enough to not really recommend this as a companion-centric player's home, because you'll run into issues with it. I promise you will. So being only a novice modder myself, I can't really recommend exactly how to fix that. My best educated guess is that it is a nav mesh issue. But anyway, let's jump back into the positives here, because that is a very minor negative. Let's close the door and just start clicking on things. Nothing is true, everything is permitted. Any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. I believe that was Isaac Asimov. I can't 100% swear to that, so if you know better, please do correct me. And do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. As you can see, there are a lot of pop culture and not so pop culture references throughout this entire mod. And it's also got a slightly grim feel to it. Like whoever stays here is just a little off upstairs, which I like. but which may put some players off. Like, you've got some legacy items in the content, like the neck strung up creepy little dolls here from the Point Lookout content. And if you heard a voice just now, no, that was not audio contamination on my end, or anyone sneaking up behind you. Don't look behind you! It was instead Audrey Jr. here, a talking miniature spore plant. Yeah.
You hear about that band of crazy old ladies running around?
No.
I hear they're real vicious when they mug folks.
Wow, I've never actually heard that dialogue before. Quick note about Audrey here. She's invincible! So, I've kind of taken to a violent little habit of whenever she startles me, because she will. I even know she's here. Never mind the first time I came here and came over to craft something and she just immediately started talking and I damn near fell out of my chair. Whenever she startles me, I just kill her. Because she won't stay dead. So, say what you will about me, because that probably says something about me, but it's worth noting. Anyway, all of the expected crafting amenities are present. You have your reloading bench, your workbench, and a limited sorter function over here, but we'll get to that, so I'm going to kind of work my way around the room. There are two different radios in here. There's the Mojave Music and Radio New Vegas radio, which is, in fact, the jukebox. So you can pick just about whatever you want. I don't believe there's a way to get Black Mountain in here. Don't exactly know why you would. Fred don't talk much. All of these containers are safe, by the way, so feel free to stash and organize however you see fit. And if you recognize that board, it's because it's yet another legacy item from the Fallout 3 assets. So it looks like they're taking advantage of a lot of those good old legacy content pieces here. The bloody knife, probably get him out of the trash can. Yeah, I'll show you what that's about here in a moment. Two bears high-fiving. There we are. Typewriter. All working up blade makes Jack a dull boy. But anyway, enough of the little pop culture references for now. What was that about the trash can? Well, I'll show you. Like I said, this is a somewhat grim and disturbing home, but in a subdued manner that isn't so overt like some raider homes I've stumbled across. So this I like. It's almost amusing, because yes, that is a skeleton with a flower growing out of its eye socket stuffed in the trash can. I like that. It's sufficiently unsettling to the point of being amusing. And I feel like I'm a failure as a pop culture fanatic because I don't get the Shardik teddy bear. If you guys do, please tell me, because I'm curious about that one. I really am. Yet another toggleable light. Picked up that baby in New Reno. So anyway, as for the terminal, again with the white text, I like that. You can access the security functions from here. You can also play Fallout 3's Reign of Grellic text adventure, which I think was a nice thing to bring back. And you can also read The Shunned House, a multiple chapter, somewhat short story, kind of a novella, by H.P. Lovecraft. Before you freak out, it is public domain. It's not illegal to include it. Don't flip your shit. Alright. Now, moving on over to the item storage. Again, all free, safe containers. These will not respawn on you. So feel free to organize. The armor locker is split into light, medium, heavy, and headgear. So you can automatically organize that away. And again, with the slightly grim, all the meat hooks here. Sorted weapons allow you to sort your melee and unarmed, small guns, energy weapons, big guns, and explosives. So let's show off the weapon wall real quick by stashing some of... I don't know if the Captain's sidearm will show up, but let's stash some of these in here. That gun, there we are. As for... No, I don't believe I have any energy weapons. How about big guns? I know I've got Annabella with me. A gun which unfortunately shares a name with a crazy, crazy, crazy great aunt of mine. So, now we activate the wall, and bam! All of your vanilla game uniques, well, not quite all it seems, but most of your vanilla game uniques will appear on the wall. It's not quite as extensive as, say, the underground hideout weapon wall, because it won't show just base weapons. It will only show the uniques, and I don't believe it supports DLC weapons, so it's just the vanilla game uniques. And apparently since it didn't... Well, actually, let's see here. I stashed the captain's sidearm in small arms. It probably should have gone in energy weapons. So let's find out if it supports Wild Wasteland. Nope, apparently not. Okay, so just vanilla game weapons. Uniques will show up on the weapon wall. I think this courier has a fascination with death. Pinball wizard. Oh, yes. And if anybody noticed the tarot reading note over here on the corkboard, you know where to find me. Does that look familiar to anyone? If it doesn't, it's okay. Your soul is still safe. Moving in here. This is one of the very few issues that I do take with this house mod, because this bathroom just feels arbitrarily immaculate. I mean, down to the little brass or bronze busts here on the wall. But cleanliness is next to godliness. Another little feature here, which I do actually really like, is the Transmogrifier, which will allow you to, as you can see, revisit the race menu instead of having to console your way to it, which can be rather buggy for some people. If any of you ever wondered what my Courier 6 looks like, there we are. So, finalized, please don't crash. Awesome. I've never actually had this crash, by the way. I have had crashing issues with the show race menu command before, but this never seems to do it, which is cool. Little details, like the fact that you've got tweezers and little bitty scissors here on the sink, like somebody's actually been here grooming. That's one of the things that I can really say about this, just like I said about Rancho Villa, is that this actually feels lived in. You know, you've got things like having, you know, cigars and cigarettes right next to the ashtray, actually having a pack of cigarettes right next to that, having all these notes right next to a computer where you would have them, having little bits of, you know, desk decor, having a book next to the bed. These are things that a normal person would do. So I enjoy the fact that that's included here. It makes it feel more natural. As well as actually having all the amenities that you might want, not just for metagame purposes, like just having, you know, storage and workbench, which for a metagame, that's all you would need, but and a bed, but, you know, including things like a bathroom to make it really feel realistic, which some mods don't do, and that doesn't really appeal to me. Television. I was told this was some kind of mind control device. But continuing a little bit upon that tangent, this is one of those mods that, again, I liken it to Rancho Villa in that it's not the impregnable fortress or vault that so many other player house mods are, and that's not to knock those mods, not by a long shot. Underground Hideout is one of my favorite mods for any game of all time. But if you're wanting to play a somewhat more kind of down-to-earth, realistic, somewhat eclectic sort of character, it can feel a bit overwhelming, and it can feel like it's a bit too much. This feels more natural, like it's the kind of place that a slightly off, especially after incurring such a, you know, minor little head wound, as Courier 6 might actually want to live in. So I won't harp too much upon that, but suffice it to say, I am very, very impressed with how realistic this feels. And I'm actually really happy right now that Farsight is here in the room, because, like I said before, I've actually had issues with even some vanilla companions, but mostly just modded-in companions, being able to use this interior space. But obviously, that's not a universal problem, even amongst my own uses, much less anybody else. So, that just about wraps the Freeside studio apartment. Is there anything else that I am missing? Oh, yes. I forgot to mention, much the same way that this entry hall was inspired by the Secret World CGI trailer, the interior layout here, especially the windows, I think, all these vertical windows kind of lining the outside of the building, the interior layout was inspired by John Constantine's apartment from the Constantine movie, an aesthetic that I really liked in the film and also its execution here. So that is, again, worth noting. There's just so many little pop culture references in here. I certainly did not show off all of them, so feel free to download this and find the remainder of them yourself. As for remaining functionality, let me skip ahead to evening time so that you guys can see just how much the lighting in here will change based on time of day. Big difference, right? Yes, the lights are on. Let's turn them all off so you can really get the feel here. A few of these will remain on, except for that one, which I can turn off. As well as that one. So it can get downright dark in here. Which, again, if you really want to be roleplay heavy and actually, like, turn the lights off and go to bed, this can facilitate that for you. Let's click those back on. And one last little thing in terms of lighting. If you step outside at night, you can actually see where your apartment is located. Ta-da! One minor issue with these windows is that they are inexplicably the only windows with sills on them on this entire building. So even during the daytime, you can kind of pick out where this apartment is supposed to be. I like, personally, I just wish those sills weren't there. Because it just makes it feel too different. It reminds me that it's a mod instead of feeling like it was always there and like it's just part of the game. But that's a very minor issue. Other than that, I've got to say that the Freeside Studio apartment is one of my favorite home mods because it's not too much, it's just enough, and it fits New Vegas awesomely. So that wraps it. I am Mr. Black. Thank you for joining us at Last Level Press for our mini entries in the Mod Spotlight series. I wish you all good gaming and Godspeed.